I'm not saying don't start a business because men don't want a woman who owns a business. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
I'm saying more of the boss babe, I don't need a man concept that is more prevalent now.
Proclaiming it and having that mindset is not good.
Well, I think too, I can't speak for boss babes everywhere, but I think their thing too, a lot of the time is that they are trying to flex their money like a man flexes their money.
Yeah.
Women are so afraid to be feminine. They're so afraid to live a soft life. When women were able to go out and get a job and do all that stuff, they started competing with men. I am in no way implying that women should not own a business, run a business, do what she needs to do.
Okay.
I'm mostly talking about those women, and the boss babe, I would say, is a woman who is so set on doing it all herself.
Right.
And like, I don't need a man.
Right.
But she wants a man, but then she can't figure out why she can't find a man.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I wanted to like clarify a little bit.
And that also, in my mind, when I think of boss babe, I think of that as her identity. She's proud of that thing. She's like, I'm a boss babe, right? And it's like her entrepreneurship.
She's giving herself the title.
Right.
Like, and that's why I wanted to use boss babe, because I know plenty of women who own businesses that aren't in that boss babe mindset.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are people that take it to the extreme, and I feel like it's actually hurting them rather than helping them.
It's like your identification.
Right. And it kind of reminds me of when someone who's really insecure is like being overly confident to try to make themselves. And I get it because like I owned a business. Granted, I did it more of like a side business. And you do get that feeling of like, oh, like maybe I'm not good enough. Like, should I be charging this? Like, I get that it is something that can cause insecurities.
Right.
I feel like especially in women, you know, because we weren't allowed to work, you know, in the 50s or whatever. And now we can do that. But I feel like it kind of, for me, the boss babe kind of sort of area.
It's like overcompensation.
Right. Borders
like
on this.
Small dick syndrome, like, you know, like big truck, small penis. Like that,
I guess.
That
yeah,
kind
that,
of thing. Or even
like
you know, being a, what's the other one? It's not, what's the bad bitch? Like it'd be a bad bitch or like if a guy's like, I'm an alpha male. Where it's like, okay. America.
Yeah, anybody who like labels themselves as something like that, it's normally like, okay, you're probably overcompensating for some other sort of feelings that you have inside. But yeah, so I wanted to talk to you. And I mean, another thing I want to clarify too is that I'm not also implying to do things for men. I'm not saying don't start a business because men don't want a woman who owns a business. I'm not saying that at all. Right. I'm saying more of the boss babe, I don't need a man, like sort of concept that is more prevalent now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I've did all my disclaimers.
Okay, now I can answer the question.
I mean, there's more things that I want to say, but I feel like I want to get I already know because I know you, but I want to get you in here with your thoughts.
So the question is, do men like boss babes?
Yeah. Like, are they more attracted to them? Like, is that what they want? And actually, it's kind of hard to ask you because I know what you're going to say, but I feel like the guys in the comments would say something different. And maybe you'll address that as well.
No.
I already knew.
Podcast.
You said that in the one that came out today, too.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you said the exact same thing. Okay. You were like, no, end of podcast.
I'm consistent. But no. Okay. So, again, like you said, I agree the same thing. There's nothing wrong with a woman having a business. I think it's great. I think it's great if you have, you know, a business. But identifying with the boss babe, like this idea of I don't need a man, like giving yourself the label of boss babe, it's not attractive. It's not attractive. And yeah, maybe some guys in the comments would say it, but I still don't think that, you know, a majority of men are not going to like a woman self-proclaimed. Just like, okay, which woman is going to like it if I'm like, I'm an alpha male, right? Like
I mean, I agree.
Okay, there's a very small percentage of women that was like, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
very
like,
small.
Yeah, that's like, oh, is your last name Johnson? Oh, okay, then yeah, we're good to go. That inside joke, but no, I mean, most women are not going to be turned on by a self-proclaimed. They want an alpha male. They don't want a self-proclaimed alpha male.
Right.
Right. So it's the same kind of thing, right? Like a guy wants a woman that has some kind of, passion, or she's doing something with her life. She's not just doing nothing with her life. Doesn't mean that, a guy's going to value women on different things, but proclaiming it and having that mindset is, it's not good.
Well, I think too, again, people are going to crucify me, but they do it anyway. So
it doesn't, see, now you're learning the internet. This is how,
but
welcome.
I can't speak for boss babes everywhere, but I think their thing too, a lot of the time is that they are trying to flex their money like a man flexes their money.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not attractive to a man.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing as if I wore yoga pants and I'm like, oh, checking me out because I'm wearing yoga. It's like not going to work. It'll work if you wear them. Not going to work if I wear them. So.
I don't know. Your butt was looking pretty good in your sweatpants this morning. Looked like them yoga pants you talk about with the right up the butt cheeks.
Well, it's just not going to have the same effect. Okay, it's like
it distracted me, but yeah, I mean, so I think that's the thing that to talk about is the concept of women feeling like they have to flex their money and how that's not necessarily what men are looking for, at least men that they want. Because let's look at it this way, right?
Yeah.
I'll give boss babes one thing for sure. They're out there running a business. They're doing what they have to do. That's hard work.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's hard work.
Right.
But they're looking for a man of a caliber, or they should be, that's high because their caliber is high, right? If you're running a business,
right,
you're probably not going to want a guy that works at Pizza Hut. No offense if you work at Pizza Hut, but they're probably going to want another entrepreneur or someone similar, right? On their level to understand where they're coming from and to help them, I would think.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of those men aren't necessarily looking for someone to compete with.
No.
So when the boss babes come in and they go on a date and they're like, I'm doing this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
A man feels like he almost has to compete with her. This is my opinion.
Okay.
Feels like he has to compete with her in a way. And a man wants a challenge, but not in the business way, not in career way. He wants a challenge as in he has to pursue you before he gets you, and then he's invested, and those sort of challenges. He doesn't want a challenge as in, I'm dating this woman who makes this much money and I make close to hers, but maybe not enough. Now I got to make more than her.
Yeah.
Or else now I have to hear that she makes more than me, because potentially the boss babe could be like, what are you doing? I'm making $60K a month and you only make $50K a month. What are you doing, honey?
Maybe you should jump on my webinar.
Right. Or something like that. So I feel like it's harder for women in that mindset because they're almost kind of in the boss babe mindset. They're almost kind of repelling men because men don't want to compete with them.
Right. It's just not even an attractive trait, right? It's not the thing that attracts a man. Like as a man, we don't find that attractive, right? Just like as a woman, and the reason why I think women think this is because that's what they find attractive, right? Woman's like, who calls herself a boss babe, she's like, yeah, these are making money, like going after your shit, like all these, which are they're more masculine traits. Like, let's be honest. It doesn't mean that you have to be. Well, it's kind of like when
men are like, women just want a hot guy. That's what they want. So they're projecting that.
Right,
exactly. Well, and I think to add to that, because this is a good time to add to it, women are so afraid to be feminine. Like they're so afraid to live a soft life, which I do feel like it's kind of swinging back though. And it's becoming more accepted to be feminine and softer.
It depends on what circles you're in.
But for so long, like when women, were able to go out and get a job and do all that stuff, they started competing with men, not intentionally, but they did start competing with men.
Right.
And now the boss babe mindset, I feel like, is still, it's like almost the extreme version of that still. Yeah. It's like, it's still competing. Like, because you can have a business and make money and not be competing, or not be your full personality, or it not be something that you use to define you.
Right. And because, again, that's more of a masculine characteristic, right?
Right.
If a guy has that same mentality, I mean, hopefully he's not calling himself a boss babe, but, if he is, that's fine. But
a boss dude. I don't know.
Boss dude. I'm boss dude. I'm the boss. Just call me the boss, all right? So
that's probably what they would say.
That's an attractive trait. It's an attractive quality, right? And again,
but also not if he's like flexing it.
Well, yeah, not the flexing part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, and this is where women also are like, oh, it's a double standard, like in the workplace and stuff. It's like if a guy is assertive and speaks up in meetings, he's praised. But if a woman does that, then she's like, whatever. So there is kind of that, there's some truth to that.
Right.
But there's also a reason for it. It's because that generally those masculine traits, when a man embodies them, they're looked on as good. When a woman embodies those masculine traits, they're not looked on as good. Not to say that.
Which I feel like if you are a woman who's working and wants to work, then you should be able to speak up and be assertive.
Exactly.
Because if you're going to be in that environment, you should be able to act the same way without the double standard. But I agree with you that it's like we're here and it should be, okay, well, if you're going to work, period, you're in this work box, then you can be assertive and you can say what you want and, get shit done.
Right.
But it's still like, if you're a woman, now you're bossy. But if you're a man, you're like a great leader. And it's still separated, even though it should be, if you're both at work, you should both be able to do the same things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's a complicated, thing because there are, again, like I said, the masculine traits and the feminine traits, and
so, it is more masculine.
Yeah,
and I can't speak out of my own experience, but I feel like there are women, especially now, who are trying to maybe go to work. Maybe they are a CEO or something.
Yeah.
And they try to go and run their business and they have to maybe be more masculine. But when they get home, they want to be more feminine. And that's harder.
It is harder.
It's harder to flip the switch rather than, just being able to be feminine.
Right.
No matter.